not.
You are now live.
Okay. This is Senate Appropriations Committee, and I expect we're going to have a somewhat shorter session this afternoon. I'm sure people won't be disappointed because we'll give time to review sections of the budget that we're going to be having second reading scheduled for tomorrow, as well as all member caucus prior to the Senate session, which will allow for opportunity for questions, as well as some advantage to me in the fact that joint fiscal staff will be there and can participate and provide additional information if necessary. So looking at the document, and I wanted to go to the document that has the ARPA funding, the G section. And we mapped this out. All right. So we have in G200, that is where we have adult days, the recovery center, parent child center, food bank, and local foods for schools. But I wanted Rich to do that section 200. And then yield to Senator Sears, who will take up 201, which is health and well-being. And what I'm thinking we would do, because actually the ARPA ties into so much of what's in the regular budget or whatever, it would be good just to include anything that's related. And I'll give an example. For example, in 201, there is additional changes on the web report around the Defender General, Dick. So I'm thinking when we get to that, take all the different pieces and put it together in one presentation. So in 201, which is, the justice system piece, if there are parts in the B section that we changed, that you just tie them all in, and we'll do it as we go through this document.
Okay, and including the one-time money.
Yeah,
Court reopening.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what this is all about. This
Okay,
is
well, I don't have unfortunately, I haven't received the web report yet.
Well,
Have you got a hard copy of it? Or
We didn't
is it
send
on our?
it. So
Yeah.
the link to the web report online should have been sent out yesterday from Chrissy,
And my hard copy came today.
but it was just the bill, right? We did not print out copies of the web report. to
Just
send
the
out.
bill.
Just the bills.
Okay, I've got two things from Chrissy. All right, let me look at the first one.
I'll send you another link to the web report so you can just click on it. And
No,
see
I
it in
think
your
I got it
browser.
right now. It says G201, Judiciary State Attorney, Defender General, Domestic Violence.
Yeah, he's on the summary sheet, Stephanie.
Oh, okay.
And then I would also go into the sheriff's change. Which is obviously in a different section.
Yeah.
So
So you want to do sort of base changes versus ARPA supported items sort of in their categories. So
Right.
I'm thinking that we would follow the ARPA guideline, but at the same time reference the other sections that relate to the justice system, which would be the sheriffs or whatever. So we don't keep bobbing up and down.
Yeah.
And it does mean going back to the web report just to identify those other connections of where we've made a change. Senator Westman?
So here's what so we'll go through the regular budget, the B sections, and then when we get to the end of the bill and the G sections, then I'll pick up and do the human services pieces in the G section. I'll hand off to Senator Sears, and he'll hand off to Senator Baruch.
Well, I wasn't going to go through all the B sections individually. I was going to link the Bs with any of the Gs if we could. So we're doing it as a combined rather than sequential.
Okay, because what I was going to do, I took the web report, and there's the web report that just has the changes in it.
That's it.
And I was gonna run through those sections, and I was gonna say, this ties in with that and that, but not all of the human services sections. Food bank, yeah, I guess they all do kind of relate
Yeah.
to my stuff. So,
Mhm.
yeah, okay. I'm just gonna run through what would be the Bs and say, and you're gonna find this in G this, and there's language in E.
Jane, I thought you were saying that you would do the B section. Is that what of them you're going to do?
What I was going to do would be, I was going to do the housing and the economic development piece. And,
In the B?
well, maybe this won't work. I don't know. What I was trying to do is take the ARPA section as kind of the starting point, and then take anything that's on the, like the 200s, go back into the Bs and see if there are related changes, so that we would do the ARPA piece, but we would also, in our presentation in a consolidated way, reference the changes in the B section of the budget. So, for example, childcare is not on this ARPA. Well, it is. Where is it though? Where it should be here.
So the ARPA is not the state fiscal relief ARPA for childcare. So that is actually in the childcare section of the
Okay.
bill.
Okay. So that's what I mean. We're going to have to crosswalk. And I was going to do it instead of the Bs, but maybe it's easier to start with the Bs and cross. I hated to bounce back and forth to the different sections. So my goal was, if we organize it around G200, anything that's in the base budget or other sections that tie to it, do it as a package. And like the childcare, which is a different funding stream of ARPA, make reference to that as well. So when you get up, you're talking about everything in total.
I was going to talk about the Bs, the Es, and the Gs all in as they related to the sections in the Bs.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
Like you could just say, in addition to the base budget, ARPA funds, and then just list them. You know, when you're,
You can do it either way. What I was trying to do is aggregate all the different sections so that when we're talking about childcare, it doesn't matter if it's in B or if it's in the one-time general fund or if it's ARPA. We talk about any of those related pieces. And the only one that really on the 200s that fall outside would be the schools, the local foods.
Yep.
Which I'm going to have Bobby talk about, and this is an example of what I'm talking about. Is we put together what we see as the agricultural list. So Bobby's we'll figure out who yields to Bobby, but he's going to talk about, what's that in addition to the base. This is what we have: money for working lands. We have the grant to produce local foods. We have 50,000 from ag farm viability to work with farmers to help them. We have 550 million in housing, and some of that will be available for farm worker housing. We have that ongoing soil health initiative. We have 10 million of conservation land conservation funding. And then we had 500,000 for our agricultural fairs. So that's what I'm asking to go back and aggregate related pieces that might be in different sections, so that we're not bouncing all around, and it will just tie it together when you get up and present.
Are we going to have a list of who we're following?
Yeah, we'll do that next.
Okay.
Okay. So I thought, Rich, 200s, you would start and that,
I-
and then you will,
So I'm going to start my whole presentation in with the G section.
yeah, but then you're gonna add in everything that's in B,
Okay, I can do that. Yep.
okay? Or any other place. That's gonna,
Okay.
because it brings it together rather than scattered in different sections, depending if there's some general fund
Okay.
one time. There might be some CRF in certain, places. And so, for example, then I would have, Rich, after you take what we're doing in G plus B, and it's related, and whether
Okay.
it's or not covered, but needs to be covered when you get up, like the childcare ARPA and
So-
any,
Okay, so when I get up, my only changes are really in Dale and in DCF. And I'm going to talk about Dale and DCF and relate the sections in B and E and in G all to those, and then I'll yield to Dick.
yeah. And for example,
And
you,
you're gonna go first and open and yield to me.
yeah,
Okay, I can do that.
okay. And so, for example, in DCF, we updated the reach up standard of need. You would pick that up when you get up and do
Yeah,
that.
and we did all of, in Dale, we did all of the, from 2% to 3%. So I had planned on saying, here in section so-and-so is, the 2% increase, and telling, because most people don't understand that, in 133, it's the designated agencies and the SSAs and the DS shared living providers, and say that's here, and we gave a 3% increase. And I was going to say in B 33 334.1, that's where you'll find the home health agencies, the adult days, and the AAAs, and we gave a 3% increase there.
That's fine. That's fine. What I'm asking everybody to do is we'll follow the format of the G section, but bring in at the same time. So it's a consolidated presentation in that area. So we don't keep jumping up and down. And in some ways, I would normally do, I would do mental health, but it would be easier, I guess, for you to say we're doing 3%, and I've already put it in the summary oversheet. So we're just going to have to do this a little bit differently. Otherwise, it just gets too, or we're going to take forever going through the B section and then the E section and then the G section. And so that's why, and then we'll take it from there. So I was going to have Rich start with the 200s. Dick would pick it up with 201. And that's all the judiciary related stuff. And anything else that he wants to bring in that's in his area of the budget that would
Okay.
fall in that bucket.
So the food bank that money got appropriated where? I
It
thought
got to the Agency of Human Services, DCF, I believe.
Okay. Then let me just check to make sure. Okay. That was the only one I didn't.
Isn't that
Um,
right, Stephanie? DCF,
DCF, I'm
bank
sorry.
the food bank
Food bank
money
goes
went
through
to,
DCF. It does go
Yeah.
through DCF.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's perfect.
okay. So Dick, you're all set on 201, and then you bring
Yeah,
in.
I'm trying, how did you get, I'm wondering how Alice got the web report?
I didn't get the web report.
Well, whatever got mailed to you,
I got the full bill.
and it got mailed to you?
Yes.
No, FedEx.
FedEx, okay, so I should get it.
No, the web report is, Chrissy sent out a link yesterday, and they've got that. What I did is I went through, and you have the full web report,
From
but
FedEx.
she also gave a link that has the web report that is only the changes.
Yeah, I asked to do a shortened web report So because so many of the pages, no change from the governor, no change from the House. So all of that. So what I thought would be particularly helpful is a web report that only takes those sections where there's been a change either by the House or by the Senate. And
I took that web report that had only the changes, and that was the document, and I printed out my sections, and I went through and I said, and here's the changes in Dale, and it relates to this in G.
okay, that's fine. You're gonna take it, and any of the
Yep.
changes that are reflected on the web report, which is that base funding, anything that is in the one times, either general fund or on the ARPA, I want you to just aggregate it in your presentation.
I can do that. I thought that web report that only had the changes in it it took the whole document down to 90 pages. And I thought that was manageable.
Well, thank you. That was my brainchild.
Um,
Well,
is
can
there,
somebody resend that to me, please?
oh, here we go.
I'm so overloaded with documents that I can't find the documents that
Yeah,
I'm looking.
Chrissy sent it out yesterday, but we'll have it resent.
Okay,
Right, thank
Jane,
you.
Yes,
so I just want to make sure I'm understanding this. So you'll yield to Richie,
mhm,
Richie will yield to Dick, then Dick will yield to me, and
yep,
I will be working from the G sections,
yep,
but then you want me to bring in any part of my sections from the B sections where there are changes that need explanation.
yep. Mhm. And
Okay,
any other section, like is there language in the E sections, for example?
okay. All right,
I-
so
I don't know if there are, but you
Well-
could just look.
there are a few, but not a lot.
Okay. All right, so then, Philip, you would do the apprenticeships, youth employment, all of that.
Yeah,
That we have in the 300 and 301, the Vermont State College, UVM, and the
Yep.
independent colleges.
Yep.
Okay, and then 302.
When do I do mine, Jane?
Helicopter.
Well, we're,
At 2:15? Do I get in earlier or later?
well, we can decide where you fit.
So Dick,
I am thinking that it would be, make sense for you to come after me. I was going to do the economic development. I had asked back, that's what we got over from economic development, the money there. And then the housing. And then I was going to turn it over. So why don't we, and then we were having Alice do the 600 section. And Alice, that would relate back to the language in E that you were gonna, that was S109 about creating the special fund and so forth for weatherization. And any other changes as it relates to those sections.
600.
And Bobby, I'm thinking that maybe it would be good to have
See,
you
remember-
have you after me and before Alice, and we'll do the ag summary.
So you'd go after Phil?
I have to follow Phil, yeah.
And then Bobby, and then I'll follow after Bobby.
Yeah, that's right, Alice. And then
700 section, the water and sewer investment. Who has that? Do I have that?
I do, because that gets into where we're doing the diversion of the rooms and meals tax
Yeah.
percentage and freeing up the general fund.
Okay,
So I thought I would finish up with that. And I think that takes care of it, doesn't it? And then it seems like it's the easiest way of organizing our progression through it.
So
Becca,
Jane,
yesterday, I know that you've been really stretched, so I said I would pick up the economic development piece. If you,
she's not here, Jane.
okay, oh, I guess, no, I see there's just an empty chair. Okay,
Jane, a
So-
quick question.
yeah,
So in terms of, you know, I'm starting with the G section, and the G section for me is really all higher ed or the independent colleges
mhm,
viewed as workforce. So I have a lot of sections of the budget that are
Mhm.
not related to that.
mhm.
So what do you think is the best? Should I do all the G stuff and all the 200 all the G stuff, all the B and E sections that relate to higher ed, and then go on to the other sections of the budget to keep it all together? Or,
Well, what are the other sections you've got?
well,
If there are no changes, we're just not going to cover it. We'll,
okay, I could limit myself to just that stuff. But, you know, I'm thinking of like the agency of administration or the, you know, the other agencies that fall under my, some of them do have small changes.
Yeah, but
are
if
they
it's-
really substantial though?
No,
No,
It's
okay.
usually just for pay, negotiations and
Yeah.
rent.
so I'll limit myself to the,
Yeah, I'll try to frame it up so that I'm going to say that in many areas, these are standard. There's very minimal changes. Generally, they reflect higher salary costs and
Yeah.
internal service fees for ADS or fee for space. So that what we're going to be really touching on are the kind of the key pieces of the sections that you have reported. So if you have other sections that don't fall into that 300 or 301 bucket, but you want to bring them in and they are substantial, you can review them and just do it all in that one time.
okay, I'll look it over again. There might
Okay.
be one or two that are substantial.
Yeah, okay. I'll rely on people to just go back through and the web
Okay.
report is very helpful because it just is only pointing out where we made changes.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you, what Chrissy just sent out, if you look, she has the full web report, and then there are 3 links below that, and that last one is just the changes. That's awesome.
yeah, I've got that up now. That looks great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because otherwise you're flipping through nothing, no change, you know, and it's like, you know, if people want to
Yeah.
see the full report, it's available. But for the purposes of this, generally recognizing that people only have so much attention in Zoom, it's very hard to go through 3 hours of technical detail on something.
There's no need
might
for
be-
that.
People really want to know what's in here that's really important, what's different, which is substantive, et cetera, that we would identify, we feel everyone should know. Okay. So the way we've got it would be, so Rich is going to do that. Rich, maybe, I don't know, there's certain areas where we probably have got some other changes, and I might coordinate them with you because you're doing the reach up, the mental health, the mobile crisis, you're picking that up, and you're picking up the 3% mental health increase.
So I'm going to do the mental health stuff too.
I think it makes sense for you to do that since you're doing the choices for care, 3%, and you would do the ACCS rate increase. You might as well just do the.
I'll do mental health.
Okay. And because the mobile crisis pilot is in there in the 200,
Yep.
so you've got a nexus to lead to mental health. All right, so it's Rich and then Dick and then Phil. Then Becca, on the 302, on the downtowns, on the 302, which is really everything out of that economic development list that I was given. Do you want to do those, or yesterday you said maybe with everything on your plate, you'd have me do them? But I just want to come back and make sure that if you want to do those sections, that would be fine.
I have a lot on my plate, Jane. I'm okay with
Okay.
it. Would be a big help. Thank you.
Okay, all right. I don't want to not have you.
Understood. Understood.
All right. Then homeless, housing, broadband, and then what we're putting through for modernization. Then Bobby will do the ag after that. Alice will do the 600 sections as well as the language regarding the special fund in E. And then I'll finish up with 700 and anything that goes with that. Okay. Does that sound all right in terms of a progression? And it does mean that maybe you're reporting out highlights from sections that aren't necessarily your sections of the budget, like Rich and I just talked about. But otherwise, it just is so jumping around. I don't see any need. And I feel perfectly comfortable saying, take those sections and cover them. And I'll look at the web report and see if there are any others that might be in my assigned area that I want to have somebody pick up.
I'm just going to say, here's what's in Dale, here's what's in DCF, here's what's in mental health.
Yeah, okay. And Dick, anything more for you? Then you
No,
can
I think
bring in.
I'm pretty gonna stick to the protection to persons and property. I'm just noticing things like when we added 300,000 to Turning Point clubs, I think, Rich can do that as part of his,
Yeah, they're up there in 200. Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a lot of little things that I would normally speak to, but I think I'll just stick with a small group and protection of person.
Yeah, so Rich was, because the recovery centers, which is Turning Points, are in 200, Rich can pick that up. Also, if in fact it's adding to something that's in 315, you might want to note it, because the recovery centers, actually that went with a 240 for a total of 540 for 45,000 per center.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the recovery centers are also connected with the health department.
Yes, they are. ADAP.
So,
Yeah,
so
to the extent.
I had been intending to say in the health department, there are really no changes, but there is money for the recovery centers and that's the way I was going to handle the health department.
Okay. All right. Fine. Guess you've taken care of it. And any other comments about how we're going to organize tomorrow, and hopefully it'll all flow? I'm hoping that it will be, with the caucus, all member caucus, that it should go pretty easily.
Yeah, Jane, I was wondering, like, the Secretary of State's office and those folks where there's no change, do I have to report anything on that?
No, we aren't. No, we're not going to report any of those sections that
Yeah,
don't
good.
have changed. No, I was just going to have you speak to the agriculture related pieces that are kind of scattered in a variety of places.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Other questions? So it just means looking at the web report and seeing if there's anything that relates to the G sections or somehow are stranded and we want to bring them in. And like we've just talked about, for example, the increase in the reach up standard of need, that's not something that we're funding with ARPA in 200. But when Rich gets up to speak about what's in the 200, he's going to speak to the Dale base increase the mental health 3%, the ACCS and the reach up.
So, okay, yeah.
Can I just, so with regard to in the section, this must be E. For instance, where you have something that we put the money in 315, we're just going to skip that. In other words, the brownfields, we put that in 315. So do we need,
Yeah.
No, you don't need,
okay,
well, there's brownfields.
remediation, environmental comes under DEC.
But it's not all in 315 though, is it, Al? I thought we had some in the main budget.
We
So-
do. We have some one-time general fund for brownfields.
Okay,
And then you'd go and say, and we also in
Where is-
315.
where am I going to find that? In E? I mean, I see this in.
You would see it in general fund one time.
So
Is that
I
a
do,
document?
What,
A
Rich?
different document than the web report.
so I had-
Well, Stephanie has done 3 sheets, one of which is the ARPA,
Yeah,
one of which is the general fund base, and one is the general fund one time.
okay.
So you need to look at those sheets and see where, if there's something that is of sufficient import that you want to specifically reference it. So the brownfields is on there. Was there some additional language or some kind of change, Stephanie, on that?
On the, we just forgot to put in the $1 million carve out on the, of the $11 million. That you had agreed to it in committee,
Yeah.
and
Oh.
it just slipped through the cracks on our end on Monday or Sunday.
So is that going to be the part of the amendment?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
so Madam Chair,
Yes.
the G400, I had been organized to talk about the housing piece, particularly the emergency housing 36 million. And the 40 million in total. Are you going to do that, or should I talk about that before I move on? Because that was part of DCF.
Well, the VHIP is not, that's ACCD.
That's correct.
RPCs and VHCB are not. I think, so I would suggest that you, when you do yours, I would say, pick up the homeless language that's added, which was quite a lot, and you've spent
Yep.
time on that.
Yeah.
I think you could pick up the, you could reference the 12 million, and I think you could probably, in the GA transition of the 41 million.
Yeah.
Needs to be there, as well as that reach up assistance language.
So the only ones that really aren't are the RPCs and the
Well,
The rental.
VHCB and RB, so what I would do is the V, because I'm in the economic development, I'll just keep it going and pick up the VHIP, the RPC and the VHCB housing pieces.
okay.
You'll
and
do
then
the
I'll
shelter for homelessness, the GA emergency and the reach up.
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, and so you'll do that as part of your 200
Yeah,
presentation.
I'll incorporate that in.
Okay. Other questions? Phil, do you think you'll have, what kind of language should we put into our package of amendments if we want to address the concern that was raised by the independent colleges? It's there.
She seemed to be suggesting that what they used last time worked fine and that the larger institutions had agreed to do it again.
Okay.
So, I mean,
So do we just say using the same methodology as was used in the,
You
exactly.
can go grab it from the CRF bill and just substitute that section with
Yeah.
the, it's the same $10 million from ARPA for,
And
use
she-
the words we used in the CRF bill last year.
And she said she had pre-agreement from Middlebury and the other big schools to advantage the less fortunate.
Yeah. Okay, all right. So we'll just add that to our package of amendments, which right now include the sheriffs, state paid deputies. It will include the language for independent colleges. It doesn't need to include anything on the school foods because Bobby said that they talked about it and are not doing anything. Are there other amendments, Stephanie, that we've identified that need to go into that package?
Well, the language around the legislative study on healthcare.
Oh, yes.
I guess
Uh-huh.
it's still in S-120, which is moving, but I think it's coming in. I think that's part of our package of amendments as well. And then this $1 million piece on where we forgot to add the RPC piece of the brownfields.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know if Chrissy and I sent Chrissy a list earlier. I don't know if we missed anything on that list.
We have the IT funding in the legislative budget.
Oh, the Dan Smith replacement. We
Oh,
forgot
yeah.
to include the
Okay.
language that allows us to use the carry forward to cover the Dan Smith. Yep.
Yeah, okay. All right. I guess then for such a big bill.
That's what we know
that's
about so
not-
far. Yeah.
That's not too many so far, but we'll
Yeah.
put them in a package. So independent colleges, we'll just import that earlier language. And in the healthcare, my understanding is that, and Senator Ballin, please confirm it, that we're taking the language regarding the task force that's going out and look at the healthcare costs. That section to create the task force and fund it will be brought into the budget and not be part of whatever that committee bill is that's being worked on. Is that a correct understanding?
I'm not sure that she's on.
Maybe not. Maybe not. Okay. Well, we'll get it ready, and if it's not, we'll put it on last in our package of amendments. So if it gets stripped off, won't change the numbering or anything. Other comments from people? Okay. Stephanie will, when we get done, what I have done for the highlights is to really make it clear that the ARPA funding is all in one place. The categories that we're working from, what the totals look like, then what is our key budget elements, and that gets into shoring up provider systems. That's the mental health, the DA, the SSAs, the rates, reach up, the court-related backlog and pandemic, the child care program increases, the funding of the Vermont State College Transformation Plan. I think you'll find, hopefully, in doing the highlights, I've covered pretty much what you'll be referencing in your presentation. The 41 million for the homeless work group, the 5 million base in state colleges, the special funds being shored up with general fund because of reduced. And then we've got, I'm doing something specifically on retirement obligations. I thought it was really important to have people understand that so that there's no confusion, that we are fully funding in this budget pensions, the ADEC obligation, and that this budget has a total of 250 million general fund, which is 13. Well, Stephanie now says it's 14%, but the chart I had was 13 of the general fund.
Yeah, my calculation was 13.8% so I rounded it up.
Okay, all right, that's fine. And then putting it out that we're moving the normal cost of teacher OPEB currently employed. And what we're doing and reserving the 150 million for the underfunding and the pension task force. And so we're doing something on retirement. And then the last is just putting together all the different funds. So we have a total budget of 7.175 million this year, which is down from last year with all the CRF funding. So we'll get that document out, and maybe that'll help you. That'll
It's
help.
in editing right now, so it should be up shortly.
Okay.
Oh.
Other things that people have on their minds? Okay. Somehow I think it'll all
Might
come
have
together.
some questions in the morning after I put all of this together, but for now, I think I'm good.
Okay.
Are we done?
No, well, I think we're done in terms of organizing ourselves as best as we can for tomorrow. My next question is, do we have any bills? I know that we have the bill on the assessment of schools, and we have the proposed language from Senate Ed that rather than appropriating money now for the whatever the wood, what I'm missing the description, Bobby, help me. Well, it's the high,
Thermal efficiency
I
boilers.
guess it's
Yeah, the wood, the high efficiency wood burners.
yeah.
wood-
And so what it does is it's a rewrite rather than the appropriation at this point. It's setting it up and having recognizing the work, but it does anticipate, as we said, an appropriation in 22, which would be through the budget adjustment process. And I don't know, Stephanie, was the plan for us to offer that amendment?
What amendment were you talking about?
I'm talking about the amendment to the that Senator Perchlik developed for the school
So
assessment.
my understanding is that it is probably going to be a recommended amendment from Senator Perchlik or from Senate Ed that would be an appropriations amendment.
Okay, so should we move that bill out then as amended, or do you want me to wait a little bit until we get everything finalized?
I think it's your preference. If the amendment is in final form, I think Senator Perchlik said that Senate Ed Committee was going to discuss it this afternoon.
Okay,
So-
then we will not
Yeah.
take action until they've had a chance for final review. And I don't think we have any other bills at this, or do we, Chrissy?
You're correct. The only bills we have are that one, H426 you were discussing, and S109, the energy savings.
Yeah, but S109 is now in the budget.
Correct. So that's it. That's all you have in committee.
Stephanie,
Yep.
I'm looking at this language you just sent me, and
Yeah.
it's all built around CRF funding guidelines.
Yeah. We would change that to the ARPA, or if the preference is to strike it out, not, we can craft it however you want to craft it based on, that was just actually what we put in the bill last year, the budget bill last year. So-
Yeah, I mean, it's fine with me to strike CRF and put ARPA.
Okay.
It seems like the important part is creating a floor to protect smaller schools.
Yep.
So as long as it includes that, I think it's fine.
Yeah, we will, we'll craft that into the amendment, because that will just be a replacement of the section we have there with a new section with the same $10 million in it.
Thank you.
I'm searching my computer if I could get some help for the original requests for ARPA funds from the judiciary. There were spreadsheets from the judiciary, the Defender General, and the state's attorneys.
They're all on
Anybody-
your committee webpage on Wednesday last week.
My committee,
Your committee's webpage on Wednesday last week, I believe.
judiciary,
Judiciary might be a little bit earlier, but I know Peggy
but
can pull them for you.
appropriations are there from on last Wednesday then.
I know the state's
Appropriations
attorney and the
Committee
Defender General are.
Great,
Um,
thank you.
And we have the judiciary one, I think, on our committee webpage as well. from the judiciaries.
Let me look. So
Yeah.
last week,
I can send you Senator Sears if you'd like them as PDFs, so they just pop up right in your email.
would you please? That would be great.
So you're looking for Defender General, Judiciary.
And the state's attorneys.
Yep, I'm going to send them to you in an email.
Great. Thank you, Chrissy.
You are welcome.
And you'll do the network as well, right, Dick, as part of your package of,
Yeah, I don't remember why we did anything for them, but
you gave them money
I know, but I don't remember why.
because they hadn't
Oh, we
had
gave
an
them to the,
increase
they
since
haven't had an
two,
increase in 8 years. I know
Yeah.
it since 2008.
yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
why. That's why you
That
did
was
it.
why.
Mhm. All right, so Senator Sears will get that information and cover that, that related. People all up, all okay then? The brownfields, we're doing an amendment simply because we left out the language that we had agreed to, and that was the $1 million would be subcontracted, subgranted to the RPCs, which is, which we had confirmed from Commissioner Walk is the standard practice. We just forgot it, so.
Am I mentioning the money even though we don't have the language in, or no?
You can reference the money.
Okay.
You can reference, I wouldn't even, I don't know, if you want to, I don't know. You can say
you
we're gonna
gonna-
have an amendment that that will subgrant, have DEC subgrant $1 million to the RPC to support the brownfields work.
And you'll be offering that amendment, right, Jane?
We're gonna do a package of amendments, so it'll
Yeah,
include
so
everything.
Alice-
Oh, then
Alex
I don't need-
don't even have to fool with it.
Forget.
We will do a combined amendment. As I said, it will include probably the healthcare task force, the independent colleges, the brownfield language, Dan Smith's IT. It will include anything that we identify between now and then, but that's, and we'll do it as one package of amendments.
That
Yeah.
sounds good. But is the money already in this budget?
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
Okay, good.
yes.
I'm not mentioning it.
I believe that's on the general fund one-time list.
Okay. Okay.
All right, so I just got a note from Gus Seelig that he would like to have some language a little different on the 12 million, so we may have to think about that. So
On the, is that of the not of the surplus? This is another bunch of money, right?
no, this is the 12 million that Rich is going to address
Yeah.
in the housing section when
Housing.
he does his 200. But I'm just saying, we'll look at it. It looks like maybe we have to have a language change or some clarification when we to put into our package of amendments before third reading.
Yep.
I will, Stephanie, you've got it. So we'll take it. and-
Okay, I have, we'll take a look at it, and it's something you want to decide if you want to include in the amendment. This is
Yeah.
the 12 million of ARPA funding.
Right, It's a minor change, but it's to provide housing and increase shelter capacity for the homeless. And it's for populations who may be displaced from hotel motel voucher program or are currently without housing. So it's relatively minor. I think it's within the spirit of it, but we can take a look at it when we do the whole package, which should be available tomorrow, Stephanie.
Yes, we'll have that, because you'll probably want to put it on the calendar tomorrow for Friday.
Yeah. Mhm.
Jane,
Yes.
I'm just looking on the list. I'm not sure I ever got a description of the Department of Labor apprenticeships. Did you? I mean, I know we funded it and I know we talked about it, but I don't remember them ever sending us a little summary of,
No, and this was a priority out of economic development, so perhaps we could, I don't know whether,
I can just say it that way. I'll just say that this is an economic development proposal
Yeah.
in conjunction with the Department of Labor to provide
Mhm.
internships.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
I mean, we know that it's many like electricians and plumbing and so forth. So I think people have said DOL partners with unions, for example, and some
Yeah.
of these efforts.
Okay.
Well,
All
my-
right. Anything else? Otherwise, I think probably people are ready to sit down. We'll just look at that truncated web report, pick up anything that you think
Yeah.
falls into your presentation area. And then we've worked through the sequence. And so I think we're as good as we can be. We've got a number of summary sheets that really should be helpful to people as it relates to the money. That's what people always want to know. What is the money? And I hope that what we've done for the one-page budget summary highlights really picks up, what will be presented tomorrow.
And we'll send that link very shortly. I'm just having Jeremy post that page right now.
That'd be good.
Great.
Okay.
So I got the budget all on one page. What do I need? That,
You do have,
all
Mhm.
there. I'll just hold it up in front of the screen and say, there you go, leave me alone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I sat down this morning. I want to tell you, and I know that this is now out in public, but you know that I have trouble being on the screen so long with migraines. And so this morning I woke up with that feeling of vertigo, which if it gets worse, I can't stand up. I can't do anything because I get so violently sick to my stomach. And it's a manifestation of migraines. And this morning I started that mild vertigo, and I thought I can't. So I quickly resorted to prescriptions, and I'm here this afternoon. But I was beginning to wonder this morning at about 5:30.
For our own good, we better get you off the screen as soon as possible so
Yeah,
you're
well,
healthy tomorrow.
I just want to say that if something happens to Jane, I'm going to refer all the questions to Bobby.
Well, they'll get them slow and steady.
Yeah,
He'll
well,
get back
we know
to them
how
at
well
third reading.
Bobby's able to maneuver around. You think you've got an answer, and then you say, I don't know if I really.
That may not
I don't
quite
know.
be right, but
Yeah.
it's pretty close.
So I am going to adjourn the committee for today and go offline.